Hello and welcome to the Paul Garcia Show, a show about the remarkable people of Central Illinois. I'm your host, Paul Garcia, and I invite you to join me as I speak with these individuals about their stories, the lessons they've learned, and the knowledge they've gained along the way. Tune in every Sunday to witness the power of bringing each new individual's unique journey into the spotlight. Ali Ince and Lilliana Ifft, thanks so much for coming on to the show today, and congratulations on earning yourselves some state titles this last weekend.
Thank you.
So for everyone watching, this last weekend was the IHSA Girls Track and Field State Finals, where Lilliana Ifft of Bloomington High School won the pole vault, and Ali Ince of Normal Community won the 800 meter and 1600 meter runs, and was also on the championship 4x400 meter team. I'll start this thing off with you, Lilliana. How does it feel to be an IHSA state champion for the first time?
It feels great. I'm glad to carry on the If legacy of of the pole vault. But yeah, just such a great atmosphere out there, and I don't know. It's just a great overall experience.
Awesome. And the same question for you then, Ali. How's it feel to be a state champ for the first time?
Yeah, it does feel very nice. It was fun to finally have a state meet. This season, it's been a lot of just smaller meets, and so just to have a huge meet at the end with just so many people there to support you was just really motivating, and we could all like put some great times up. So it was just fun to have an end goal and get to have some faster meets.
So throughout the season, has there been like limited capacity at your meets?
I think so. A lot of the times, like, you couldn't have that many fans there, and like the other team's fans didn't come because like it was either a farther drive or they just didn't feel like they could come. So there wasn't a cheering section really, and that really can help like push
Oh
you
yeah.
faster.
For sure. And so I want to ask, this was a big deal. It was kind of a tempo switch. The state meet was totally different than the other meets this whole season. So what were your feelings and thoughts going into this weekend? What kind of emotions were you having?
Yeah, I was just really excited. There were a few nerves, but overall just really pumped for the state meet because I've heard that fast times are ran on the blue track. And so it was overall just a great experience with the crowd and just all the great competitors that there were. And it's honestly been one of the like best meets I've ever been to.
And how about for you, Liliana? What were you feeling going into this weekend?
Definitely so much excitement. Yeah, like she said, finally getting to get to state from last year. Yes, nerves for sure. But yeah, I was glad that they were allowing fans. Family got to be there. We brought some teammates with us, so they got to be there as well. But yeah, mostly just grateful that we got to be there.
And I can't believe I didn't even think to mention that. Last year, the state meet, did that not happen?
No, didn't happen.
Liliana, you were probably gunning for a state title last year, am I correct?
Yeah, I was ranked either first or second up there, but yeah, I was definitely bummed that we couldn't have a state meet.
Yeah, I bet. We are brought to you by Fairbury Furniture. Fairbury Furniture is a delightful furniture store in downtown Fairbury that sells all of the most stylish and comfortable furniture from all of your favorite brands at excellent prices. They're staffed with great people and everyone in this area loves them. So when you decide it's time to get some quality furniture, head nowhere else but the one and only Fairbury Furniture in downtown Fairbury, Illinois. So Ali, we'll start with you. You ran some phenomenal races this week in the 800 and 1600 and 4x4. In the 1600 meter, you set a state record with a time of 4 minutes and 40.85 seconds. And in the 800 meter, you wound up running the second fastest time in Illinois state history with a time of 2 minutes, 7.06 seconds, missing the state record literally by 1/100th of a second. And I don't know if that stings or if that's sensitive. Don't mean for it to be. But were you planning on gunning for those records going into these races? Was that the plan all along to see if you could break them?
Yeah, they're definitely in the back of my mind going into the races. I wasn't necessarily like going to be mad if I didn't get them. I just wanted to go out there and compete against the great field and then knew that if I did that, a good time would appear. And so I think just, especially for the mile, it was a good feeling to break the record since that one had been standing for a while and a pretty big name held it. So it was a good one to break. And then in the 800, it was finished crossing the finish line, knowing that it was so close. Well, it didn't, I mean, I wasn't mad, but I mean, it'll just push me to like run faster next year, try to get it.
So first of all, were these both PR times for you?
In the mile, in the 1600 it was.
Okay, but the 800 was not.
No.
Okay, got it. I read a small thing in, I think, the Pantograph that said where you were quoted as saying like maybe you were kind of saving a little energy for the mile when you ran that 800. Is that correct? Were you kind of holding back on the gas a little bit?
Yeah, my coaches and I kind of had a plan because we didn't, if the rain delay didn't happen, it was going to be like 40 minutes to an hour between the 800 and the mile. And so we were going to just go into the 800 like with a controlled first lap and then just hold on and kick at the end to get the win instead of like going all out. That way I could be rested up for the mile, which had a ton of great girls in it. So.
And Lilliana, your state finals victory was awesome and gritty and full of drama because you wound up clearing 3.89 meters, which is 12 feet 9 inches, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And first of all, before I go into the story, are they now doing meters when they're measuring like your pole vault heights?
Yeah, they are right now. I was definitely confused, but
Yeah,
actually, thankfully, yeah, my dad printed out a sheet for me that converted meters to feet. So that definitely was a great thing.
Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. But you wound up clearing 12 feet 9 inches in the pole vault to take home the title and nearly cleared 4.04 meters, which is 13 feet 3 inches, which would have been a new state record. But all that took place only after a very close call at 3.69 meters, which is 12 feet 1 inch, where you finally got it on your third out of 3 attempts. But like I said, it was a close call. What exactly happened there at 12 feet 1 inch? Because that's not normally a height you would miss at, is it?
No, that's not usually a height I would miss. And actually, the thing was, I was switching poles. So, like, to a stiffer pole. So, I was finishing on, I want to say a 12-1, 150, I think. And
What does that
that
mean exactly? I'm so sorry.
yeah, so the length of the pole is like 12 feet 7 inches, and then the weight of the pole is like 150 pounds. So it was getting a little small for me. I was blowing through it. I needed a bigger pole. So you're in the transition, and just getting used to the bigger pole. I went up to a 13-foot 145, I believe. And I was going up, and the first one just wasn't feeling right. I don't know, something with the technique. And then the second one, after I missed it, I was definitely getting more nervous than I ever was. And the third one, I was just like, I have to push this so hard, like my top hand, I just have to push it so hard. And man, I was on the mat looking up and it was still up there. I was just so thankful.
Yeah, I bet. And so in that 12-1 episode, if you would have missed that, would you have then taken second or maybe even third or because there was a girl that got that height before you, right?
Yes, I think it was down to me and 2 other competitors, maybe 3. Um, I would have taken second because there were 2 other girls that had previously missed heights before me. They came in at a lower height than I did, but I think I would have taken second. Yes.
If you have trees or tree stumps on your property that you want gone, go nowhere else but Livingston County's premier tree service provider, Forest Edge Tree Service. Your yard is no place for looming, dead, or damaged trees because it's just a matter of time before they come down, ruining your property, ruining your week, and ruining your bank account. This is exactly why you need to be a responsible adult and hire the services of Forest Edge Tree Service. Simply give Joe Rudin a call call or even a text at 815-615-3037 to get a free quote today. Forest Edge Tree Service is fully staffed with trained professionals who use cutting-edge equipment to get the job done right every time. Their cleanup is top-notch, they're fully insured, and their customers are always pleased with the job that they do. So keep your family, pets, vehicles, and neighbors safe and save yourself from a world of headaches when you call or text Forest Edge Tree Service to get those dangerous, looming, troublesome trees off of your property. Once again, that's Forest Edge Tree Service at 815-615-3037, Livingston County's premier tree service provider. This sounds like it was a nerve-wracking period of time, and I know that your family was probably right there, if I understand the layout of the whole track correctly. What were you kind of saying to yourself when you were going up for that 12-1 height for the third time?
I just kept repeating to myself, "You've made this height before. You know how it feels like. Just stick to your technique. You know how to pull a ball. Like, don't overreact. It's fine. Just stick with the technique and relax." Is what I just kept repeating to myself.
So you finally cleared that height, and then when you cleared the state title winning height, what went through your head when you hit the mat and you knew that you were the only one to make that height?
It was such a great feeling. I just remember jumping up off the pit, just celebrating. That was actually a PR for me as well, 12.9. I previously jumped 12.8, so 1 inch, but every inch counts.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And Allie, your 1600-meter run was also thrilling, and I'm just addicted to the drama in sports, so I love this stuff. It was thrilling because you did not have the lead until partway through the final lap, where you eventually passed Josephine Whalen, I believe, from OPRF, who also, in her own right, ran a blazing 4-minute 42-second mile, which would have broken the previous record as well. So my question is, were you at any point worried about whether or not you'd be able to pass her in the 1600?
Um, our goal going into the race was to stick behind her for a good 3 laps and then kind of pass her the last lap. And so she definitely took the pace out really quick, and I was thankful for that. I was kind of scared that no one would take the pace and the first 2 laps would be a lot slower than we wanted. So it was nice to know that someone was just gonna get out from the start and then we would all just be able to follow her. And so definitely was pretty tired coming into the second and third lap because she took it out so fast. So I just had to make sure to like stick right next to her, because once you kind of get into like a zone where like no one's around you, it's really hard to like keep a pace because no one's by you and there's no one to push you. So I just had to stick behind her and then just at like 300 to go make the move to pass her. And once I passed her, I knew I had to just sprint for a little while to just kind of get some distance between us.
So that was the plan. Your plan was to pass her literally in the final lap?
It was, yes.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. So you weren't rattled probably. You weren't nervous throughout the race. You weren't thinking, "Oh my gosh, I should have passed her by now." It was all part of the plan.
It was, yes.
Got it, man. And so you ended up running a 440 mile, which is that's crazy, a 440. And that was your PR. So what was your previous PR before that?
446.
Dang, man. 6 seconds off. Holy cow.
Yes.
So this past weekend was definitely a highlight in your guys' career, but I actually want to talk about maybe some lowlights that came before, and specifically COVID and all its restrictions. Lilliana, you actually got contact traced and had to sit out for a couple of weeks mid-season, didn't you?
Yes, that was yeah, that happened.
Man.
Yeah, I was actually in my Spanish class and it was I won't say any names, but it was the girl sitting behind me actually. And I remember it was the day of the meet the blue and gold meet, I think it was what it was. It was a home meet, and I remember getting ready, and then we got a call from the school saying that we had I came in close contact. They didn't say any names either, but I just remember I was feeling so good the meet before, and I was so ready for this next meet. but we got the call, and I was a little disappointed, but I mean, more time to train.
Yeah. Okay. So did you get to train during your 14-day like quarantine? And how did you train if you did get to?
Yes, I did get to train, but it was like restricted hours, so it would have been like 6 to 8 when nobody was at the facility. It was just me and my dad, wearing masks just in case, obviously, but
Mhm.
yeah, it was just me there.
Man, and you weren't going to school during that whole time either?
No, just online. It was actually we just got to go back into school for second semester and I went to school for maybe a week or two and then got close contact, and we decided we didn't want to go back into school just in case, cuz if I was in close contact again, I probably wouldn't have been able to go to sectionals, and
Mhm.
that would have been bad. So,
Once and Again is a remarkable resale shop that sells and consigns pre-owned name brand clothing and shoes for your entire family. This year they celebrate 20 years of business serving our local community and beyond. Once and Again also has a great selection of pre-owned, authentic designer handbags without the designer price tag. Once and Again has an ever-changing inventory of name brands in their spacious locations in both Fairbury and Pontiac, Illinois. Along with their tag color clearance systems, shopper rewards, and other promotions, they have prices that will fit any budget. Once and Again is open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can even shop online with them too at ONCE, the letter N, AGAIN.com. That's the letter N, not the word and. For more information about consignment or brands or for directions to their stores, simply visit onceandagain.com. That's Once and Again, located in Fairbury and Pontiac, Illinois.
yeah.
Oh, so you didn't go back to school then?
No, I yeah, I wasn't about to risk anything happening again, but I definitely would have if it wasn't risking anything, I would have gone back into school, but just didn't work out that way, I guess.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that. And so you would just see your teammates at track meets, not even track practice, just at the meets, right?
Yeah, I missed 2 meets, I believe, at the
Oh,
beginning of
okay.
the season. Yeah.
Wow. And Allie, did COVID have really any impact on your training or you going to school or anything?
Um, I did not luckily get contract traced,
Mhm.
thankfully, but definitely like coming down to the end of the season, it was very nerve-wracking, like stepping into the building every day, knowing that like today could be the day that you get the call from the nurse that you have to go home and sit out for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And so we were just very cautious about like making sure I was 6 feet away in every class. That way, even if someone was to be called sick, I wouldn't have to um, go home because of that. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, it was just very scary knowing that like every day you could be the day that you wouldn't get to compete because if you couldn't compete in sectionals, that meant that there would be no state. So
Right. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that would have made headlines if either of you would have not been able to go to sectionals or state because of COVID. That would have been tragic. But hey, didn't happen. So that's good. And just curious, did you guys have to wear masks at any point during the season, like at practice or even at meets?
at the beginning of the season, um, it was a rule that we had to wear masks for track, but luckily, at least before our first race, that rule got taken down. So we didn't have to run our first race in masks, but we ran quite a few practices and like longer runs with them on, and it was not fun. It was really tough.
Yeah,
So
just inhaling your mask the whole
yeah.
time. Man, well,
Mhm.
I'm glad they put a stop to that pretty quick.
Yes.
So, when it comes to running events, we know that Allie makes most of the headlines. But Liliana, you've got some serious speed yourself. You actually qualified for state in the 4x200 meter relay, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I actually didn't get to run that race. We brought an alternate because I was still vaulting at the time when they were running the 4x2. So we had to enter my alternate in, which was a little sad, but I mean, she probably would have ran a better time than me with being in the sun all day. So I was kind of I was glad she got to run it for me. So
We are brought to you by Popejoy Plumbing, Heating, Electric, and Geothermal. Popejoy offers a full array of services that ensure that all of your home or business utilities will continue to operate at peak performance for many years to come. The Popejoy name has been servicing commercial and residential customers throughout Central Illinois since 1984, and they've earned a stellar reputation both in the community and online, boasting hundreds of 5-star reviews on Google. At Popejoy, their elite level team works hard to ensure that your homes and businesses remain comfortable, healthy, and energy efficient 24/7, which is why their phone lines are always open 24/7 as well. So for top quality plumbing, heating, electric, and geothermal services, call Popejoy at 815-496-5181. Popejoy Plumbing, Heating, Electric, and Geothermal. I feel like that's just part of being a pole vaulter. And I don't know if I understand it correctly, but it seems like pole vaulters often miss the other events because the event pole vault just takes so long sometimes.
Yes, that's definitely true. I remember at one meet I had to run 4x2, 4x1, 100. I think that was at Big 12 championships. Actually, I had to run all those events. I didn't end up running actually vaulting until the 4x4 was running, which is at the
Oh
end of the
my.
meet. So yeah.
Jeez. Okay, so speaking of relays, Allie, your 4x4 team's performance has gone viral in this area, earning over 125,000 views on Facebook. Were you guys expecting to even win that race? Because I mean, you weren't even seeded top two; you were seeded three, I believe.
Yes, I think we were seed 3, and so it was definitely in the back of our minds going into the race. I think our seed time was like 3:59, and the other 2 were like 3:57, 3:58, and we had ran a 3:58 multiple times during the season, and other teams had only ran it maybe once or twice, and so we knew like we were pretty consistent in our times, and quite funny actually. For 3 races in a row, every girl's split on our team was like exactly the same. So we were very consistent, and so we were really confident in knowing that like at state we could put up like a 3:58, and all the other teams would have to do better than that. And if they did, like that'd be great for them, and we'd be really happy for them. So coming into the race, that was definitely in our minds that we could take the state title.
And what was everyone's reaction? We spoke briefly right before I hit record here, and it was funny because like the camera guy for WEEK, right after you finished the final leg, there's like a camera guy right in your face, and then he
Mhm.
pans over and like there's a huge group of girls over there. And anyways, it was hard to gauge the reaction, the true reaction that you guys had in that moment. But
Yeah.
after the camera was gone, how did everyone react?
Yeah, so at first when I crossed the finish line, our team has white jerseys, and so I actually ran to the wrong team who was also wearing white jerseys. So I was like cheering, and they were probably like, "What are you doing? This is the wrong team." And so once I figured out that those were not my teammates, I luckily found them. They were like behind everyone else, and so I ran up to the other freshman on our team, Abigail, and she just hugged me, and then we all kind of got a group hug together, and it was just great. We got the baton that we had during the race, and so we all kind of just held that, and we're just really proud of each other.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you said all of your 400 times, your 400 splits were pretty close, but your fourth leg, the fourth leg of your relay, you were blazing. That had to be like a PR split time, right?
Yes, it was.
Do you know what the time was?
I think it was 55.2, something around there.
Holy cow. That almost would have been competitive in the open 400, I think. Well, that is awesome. And guys, we're getting towards the end of this conversation. And so I'd like to just ask a couple questions about your track and field journeys so far. We are brought to you by the Coffee Steamer. The Coffee Steamer is Livingston County's premier coffee joint. Their trailer in Fairbury boasts delicious and decadent coffee drinks, teas, and smoothies, while their full-service cafe in Forest has all that, plus tons of incredible baked goods, sandwiches, and salads. Life is too short to drink bad coffee, so head on over to the Coffee Steamer and start your mornings off right. That's the Coffee Steamer in Fairbury and Forest, Illinois. So, Lilliana, you're actually, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, you're the third person in your immediate family to win an IHSA state title. And your younger sister, Claudia, is coming up, and she's showing some pretty promising signs as well. So, what has it been like to watch your older siblings have success at the high school level as you've been growing up?
One word is just motivating. Just watching them compete is just, it brings me so much joy, and just watching them from the stands, like, I just wanted to be them. I idolized them, and I just uh, it just it's hard to explain, but I just knew I wanted to be down there, and I wanted to feel what they were feeling. I just wanted to win a state title, and my training, that's what I've been training for, and I finally get to accomplish it, and just hoping to be down there again next year.
Mhm. That had to be pretty surreal for you to finally get the job done then, because yeah, you had Cassidy winning a state title when you were really little, then Chandler, and now it's your turn, and you had to miss last year, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was pretty dramatic and pretty emotional to finally get it done your junior year.
Yes, for sure. It definitely was.
And Allie, you're in a different situation, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're the oldest sibling in your family, right?
Yes, I am.
Has there been anyone who served as your role model in running or your inspiration throughout your running journey thus far? Or are you, purely self-motivated?
There's definitely a lot of people who inspire me to run. My coaches definitely have pushed me just to continue to run faster times. And so they've definitely inspired me just to be a better runner every time I step onto the track. And so also just family, very motivating and just always supporting me. So, and my brother, he's a track runner too. So we like to have some competitions to see who can run faster.
Yeah, and how old's your brother one more time? I know you told me the last time we spoke, but I
Yeah,
forgot.
he's going into 8th grade.
Okay, got it. So are you guys competitive right now when you're running? Like is he right behind you? Or maybe even in front of you? I don't know.
Yeah, he has some pretty quick times. They sadly cross country and track this year didn't really get much of a season. It was especially for cross country just running against their own team. But for track they got to have their own like fake state meet. And so
Mhm.
that was really good for all those middle school kids.
Awesome. And lastly, what can you two say about your parents? Because you both practice constantly and you compete throughout the Midwest and beyond. How have your parents contributed to your success? Liliana, I'll start with you.
Um, there's not enough words I could say. I'm so grateful for my parents. They're just right there driving me to meets, driving me everywhere so I can compete. My dad, who's also my coach, he's right there, always pushing me to be the best I can be. My mom's second, right there, just motivating me. Always behind me, including my family. But yeah, just always there for me.
Yeah, my parents are very supportive, and I am so thankful that they never take a second to think about like how long it could actually take to get to a meet, or they'll just hop into the car and we'll drive there. So it's very kind of them to do that. And also, my mom packs all the coolers, and she gives us all the food. So I kind of don't necessarily always think about that. Especially for running, you have to have like certain food so you don't like upset your stomach. So she always is packing the cooler with things that I would like. So very grateful for them.
One's success is rarely a one-person game. There's usually a family involved. So that is a great note to end on. Ali Ince and Lilliana Ifft, congratulations on becoming state champions, and thank you so much for coming on to the show today. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. My pleasure. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of The Paul Garcia Show. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it on Facebook or with your friends. And if you haven't already, like this page on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave this show a 5-star rating and an honest review. If you'd like to support The Paul Garcia Show, you can do so by donating any dollar amount on Venmo to The Paul Garcia Show. Additionally, if you'd like to become a monthly donor and gain access to exclusive bonus footage, you can do so on patreon.com/Paul Garcia. Until next Sunday, thanks for listening and watching. I'm Paul Garcia. God bless and have a great week.